Hello there. In this video we're going to see what may happen as far as the influences of the various transits around the zodiac according to the sign Scorpio, which is the eighth sign of the zodiac, starting from Aries, which is the first one, Aries being a fire sign and Scorpio a water sign. So anything traveling around the zodiac will have a certain impact on the energy of the sign Scorpio, and of course by extension on or in the lives of Scorpio born people. We're going to find out all about this in this video, starting from now. Firstly, we'll have a look at what is happening in Capricorn. Now you see here three planets. They're all drawn in blue, and there is a blue line as well going from this sign to this one. Now this sign is Capricorn. Capricorn is an earth sign, and Pisces, as I said earlier, is not Pisces. Scorpio, as I said earlier, is a water sign. And water and earth do tend to mix together quite easily. They're actually used to build, you know, it's like cement or clay or earth, which was used to build houses or things like that in the past and even now. So anyway, what's happening here is very important because it is unique in the sense that this conjunction between the three planets here has never happened since over 2,000 years. So it is a very important transit. Jupiter, which is here, I've made a circle around it because it is the fastest planet of the three ones. Saturn takes 29.5 years to travel around the zodiac. Pluto takes 248 years, and Jupiter only 12 years. Now, Jupiter will begin its transit in Capricorn on the 3rd of December 2019, and the transit is going to last until the 20th of December 2020. Now, Jupiter represents expansion, evolution, progress, and success. Saturn represents the effort and the work that we put into what we want to achieve in life. And Pluto represents what we are able to get rid of, you know, to clean up the place and then build again on the ashes of what has been burned or destroyed. So Pluto represents the regenerating principle of life, and we all need to regenerate on a regular basis. Now, Pluto represents Scorpio. Pluto is, as we say in astrology, the ruler of that sign, Scorpio. And for that reason, it is, of course, very important wherever it is in relation to that sign. Now, being in Capricorn is something that has been very helpful to many Scorpio-born people since 2008, because Pluto entered in Capricorn in 2008, and since then it has enhanced the regenerating principle or regeneration capacity, ability of people born under the sign Scorpio. So that's been very helpful. And when Saturn entered into Capricorn, that was on the 21st of December 2017, it started to become much more realizable what needed to be questioned, what needed to be destroyed, what needed to be abandoned, what needed to be given away or given up became much more concretely appreciated and dealt with. And that's the way Scorpios have been able to deal with the realities of life in 2018, then in 2019. This year is very important for Scorpio-born people, and what's going to happen in 2020 will be, of course, derived from all the effort and the work done since 2018. So it is a very important time in the lives of Scorpios, because Jupiter, from the 3rd of December this year, 2019, today is the 3rd of September, so I'm doing these videos much earlier in order to put them online before 2020, of course. So Jupiter is going to enhance everything. Jupiter will allow things to grow and to progress. So I'm pretty sure that for many Scorpios, maybe not all of course, but for many Scorpios, 2020 could be a historical year in the sense that this strong conjunction in Capricorn will be enhanced also not only by Jupiter, but by another planet of which we will talk about a bit later on in this video. But before that, we will have a look at what Neptune may also bring to Scorpio-born people in 2020. Neptune is traveling through Pisces, which is Neptune's sign. So of course, just like Saturn is in Capricorn in its sign of rulership, because Saturn represents that sign Capricorn, Neptune represents Pisces, and it has been transiting in Pisces since 2012. So the energy of Neptune represents intuition, inspiration, the connection that we have with our spiritual self, with our soul, with the invisible world. It also represents our dreams and what we hope to achieve in life. Now, since Saturn is in Capricorn, it's been in a beneficial kind of a relationship with Pisces, because Pisces is a water sign, just like Scorpio, and Capricorn is an earth sign. So earth, water and water mix together quite well, as I've said earlier. Now, the link here has allowed, of course, a lot more concrete intuition. That means that someone who has an intuition or who is inspired about something may only be inspired or may only derive some satisfaction from that intuition. But once you put something more concrete to make that intuition or inspiration a product of life that you can use in a concrete and objective manner in life, it becomes much more interesting. And the fact that this conjunction occurs in Capricorn in relation to with Neptune in Pisces will have a very strong effect on the lives of Scorpio-born people, because here is the sun, and if you were born under that sign, Scorpio, it's because you have the sun in that sign, or the sun was aligned with that sign when you were born. So that's why we say that you are a Scorpio. It is your sun sign or your zodiac sign. Anyway, you see that this triangle here is quite a beneficial triangle, meaning that the energy that you will derive from it, if you were born under that sign, will help you a lot in 2020, like it has most probably slightly, perhaps less in 2019. It will have a very interesting and determining effect in your life as far as evolution, progress and success are concerned. So if you have a goal, an objective that you want to attain, to reach, if you have a top, a summit that you want to attain as well, then climbing to that top, to that summit, will seem much easier in 2020. And it is probably the year during which you will attain that summit. So consider that 2020 is one of perhaps of the most important years that you will live for a long time, and a long time in the past and as well in the future. So whatever you are going to get to achieve in 2020 will probably have very long-lasting repercussions in your life. On the better side, in a good way. So it needs to be attended to in a very serious manner, because it is such an important configuration here, as I said earlier, which has not happened for more than 2,000 years. Let's talk about Uranus now. Uranus is here. It's drawn in red. It's in Taurus. Taurus is the sign which is in opposition with Scorpio. So those two signs are linked together. They're actually complementary. There is a bit of Taurus in a Scorpio person. There is a bit of Scorpio in a Taurus person. These are linked together. Actually, this is an earth sign, this is a water sign, though they should be complementary in some way, but they're still in opposition. So Uranus here travels through the sector of, according to that sign Scorpio, relationship, personal relationship. And Uranus represents changes, and usually radical and definite changes that are not going to be changed again to what they were before, because Uranus takes 84 years to travel around the zodiac. So if you want to wait 84 years to have another chance to change back to what it was before, you'll have some problem, most probably, because, you know, it's a very, very long time. So Uranus here is giving you the opportunity to change what needs to be changed on a relationship basis. And it's also the way you are dealing with relationship in your head, inside. It is your perception, your idea of what a relationship should be, that is represented by this transit of Uranus. Uranus represents also the family affairs in your life, anything to do with your place of residence and anything to do with your family surrounding are represented by Uranus. So the fact that it is transiting in Taurus in the sector of relationship, personal relationship, and other types of relationship as well, because it can represent also a change in the way you manage partnerships and other types of relationships at work, in society, friendship, or personal, like marriage and so on. So anyway, because Uranus represents house number 4, a fourth sign from your sign, it means that it has to do with what is important for you in that area of life, which is family and the place of residence, and everything around will have a need and will have an impact and an influence on what you will probably change in 2020. Now, you see that Uranus is linked in a beneficial way. This is a blue line. Blue lines are showing, complementary and complementarity in order to make things much easier and much more positive for the person. Now, of course, you will derive a lot of beneficial in energy from that configuration here, which means that if you allow the changes to occur, then Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, and Neptune will be able to work for you in the best possible way, and then you will progress and achieve what you want to achieve in 2020 with long-lasting repercussions again, because that planet is very slow. 84 years, as I said earlier, for Uranus to travel around the zodiac. Now, 165 years for Neptune, 12 years here for Jupiter, 29, almost 30 years for Saturn, and 248 years for Pluto. So now we are going to have a look at what a faster planet may have as far as a triggering influence, which may be quite useful to know and to use in 2020. And the planet in question is Mars. Mars takes 2 years to travel around the zodiac. Now you see here it's in Sagittarius. It will transit in Sagittarius from the 4th of January 2020 until the 17th of February. In that section of the zodiac, according to your sign, which is the preceding sign, it represents a period of time during which you could be a little too impulsive regarding the way you spend money or deal with financial matters. It also has to do with the way you feed yourself. So you have to be careful during that period of time in order not to make any mistakes that may cost you more than what you think it may, give you in exchange. So take it easy during that period of time, because Sagittarius, in which Mars is going to transit, is a fire sign, and as such it represents the tendency that we have to rush too quickly to acquire or to get what we desire, what we want to have, and what we want to achieve. So take it easy, because after that Mars is going to transit in Capricorn, and the energy is going to change completely for the better. The transit of Mars in Capricorn will last until the 31st of March. During that period of time, which is about 6 weeks, Mars will have an effect, an influence, a determining influence, a triggering influence on that of Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto, naturally, but also on that of Neptune and Uranus. Now, this is a very, in my opinion anyway, it is a very positive period of time for you to act, to decide, to put forward what we want, what you want to get. I say we because I'm Scorpio rising, so, a little bit concerned by what I'm saying now. But the fact is that during that period of time, I will, and you should also, make important decisions to obtain, to acquire what you want to acquire, to climb a bit higher, and perhaps almost reach the top, the summit that I've mentioned earlier, and which is represented by that triple conjunction here in Capricorn. So, in my opinion, that period of time will be the most influential of all the periods of time in 2020. So whatever you decide, whatever you do during that period will definitely determine how much you are going to get as far as the good things of life and long-lasting repercussions and concrete results and so on. That's during that period of time that it is what you are going to do that is going to have the most important effect on the results that you will get later on during the year. Then Mars is going to transit in Aquarius. It's drawn here in red, and below is Saturn, because Saturn is going to travel timidly for a few months until the 3rd of July. It's going to travel in Aquarius from the 23rd of March. So on the 31st of March, Mars will catch up very quickly with Saturn, meaning that the first maybe 2 weeks of April is a time during which you should try to take it easy in order not to go too fast or too slow. You see, slowness is represented by Saturn and speed is represented by Mars. So because both planets are going to be linked together, it's like putting the brake pedal on top of the accelerator pedal or the reverse. Then it makes it difficult to drive a vehicle with that kind of arrangement. So it means that during that couple of weeks early in April, you should really try not to act too quickly or react too quickly, make or take decisions on the basis of what is frustrating you, perhaps because you may be feeling that things are not fast enough for you, and you will make a push to obtain what you want to obtain, but maybe you will lose patience, and if you do lose patience, you will be more a reacting person than an acting person, and there is a lot of difference between the two, because reaction does not allow for analysis, whereas action takes more time, and when action is decided, then it is because we have thought about what our action may bring or not bring, etc. So don't be a reactive person during that period of time. Try to control yourself and perhaps apply the brake pedal rather than the accelerator pedal, because otherwise your life vehicle will go too fast and you may not be able to control it properly, and then you may get into trouble. On the 15th of May, Mars is going to transit in Pisces. So it was in Aquarius since the 31st of March. And during that period of time, creating a kind of red line with your sign, as I said earlier, may make you too eager to get what you want to get, too impatient and so on. So be careful during that period of time, because when Mars transits in Pisces, you'll be much more in control of things in your life. And that's going to last until the 29th of June. Now, Mars is going to join with Neptune, which is here, of course, in Pisces, as we have talked about it earlier. And it will enhance the potentially beneficial link with Jupiter and Pluto, one also with Uranus here, and more especially one with your sign. So it means that during that period of time, you will have sufficient intuition and inspiration to act. And as I said earlier, you may be in a position where you need to react very quickly, or you need to plan slowly what you are going to do as far as acting is concerned. So when Mars reaches the position of Neptune, because it creates a beneficial link with your energy or the energy of your sign, you will feel much more at ease to act or react. Whatever it is, you'll be more efficient and more inspired, and your intuition will enter into the consideration whenever you need to say yes or no, or go or not go, and so on and so forth. Action and reaction will definitely be favored and enhanced by the transit of Mars during that period of time. So, you know, make the best out of it, and I'm sure you won't regret it. Then Mars is going to transit in Aries. I've drawn it in green. I'll tell you what in a minute. Tell you why in a minute. It's going to begin on the 29th of June, and the transit will end on the 7th of January 2021. Very long transit, 6 months, half a year, during which Mars, drawn in green, is linked with a green line with your sign. Aries is a fire sign. Aries is Mars' sign. So in this sign, Mars is going to be very strong. And Mars is the god of war, as you may know. In mythology, Mars was the god of war. So it represents our tendency to fight, our ability to defend ourselves, to combat, and to impose ourselves to obtain what we want to obtain. Mars represents our strength as well, physical and mental strength. So the fact that Mars is now traveling through Aries will create a tendency to hesitate. Why? Strange. If Mars in Aries is so strong, why should it create a tendency to hesitate for Scorpio-born people? Because here we have, as I said, a fire sign, and here a water sign. And as you know, water and fire don't mix together quite well. You can try, but you'll have some problems, most probably. So you consider that configuration as being sort of like if you were doing something that was similar to throwing some water on a fire that was trying or starting to burn quite well. And that fire is useful. It's needed to heat yourself up, for example, or to warm yourself up, or perhaps for any other kind of duty or use that you want to make of it. Throwing water on fire is not going to make it better. It's going to tend to kill that fire. So naturally, if you are not sure how much water you should throw on that fire in order to control, of course, that same fire so that it doesn't burn your house, for example, then you may be hesitating. And hesitation will tend to also make that fire perhaps burn even further and too much, because you will perhaps be scared to throw some water on it to control it. And that's of course an image. It's not probably not what's going to happen, and I hope it's not what is going to happen. But Mars in Aries represents the combative principle of life, which is going to be enhanced greatly during that period of time, which is a long period of time. 6 months is a long time, during which your action and your reactions, once again, may start to become confusing again. And then you may think that you will act now, I move forward, but then again, maybe I shouldn't move forward, so I move back a bit. And then I move right, but I think that perhaps I should move left, and so on. So hesitation will probably make that period of time quite, in some way, sterile in terms of results. The results that you're going to get are perhaps the results that will be imposed on you by other people or by the situation in which you are going to be, and that situation will not be handled in a constant and objective manner as much as you would like it to, so you will tend to lose control. And once you lose control, then it's fate, that is going to take control of your life. So you will have to make a definite effort during that period of time in order to precisely decide what you should do, what you should not do, and then act accordingly. Otherwise, you will get confused, and confusion will allow for mistakes to be made, and you will probably also feel the pressure of what needs to be done compared to what you may be willing or able to do. To end this video, we'll talk about Venus, because Venus is a good planet. When we talk about Mars, we have to be careful, because Mars, can become a bit dangerous in some way. But Venus is never dangerous. Venus, when it transits your sign, makes you more beautiful. And it also creates a tendency to see life more beautifully. And that helps, of course. It makes you better inside. It makes you also better in the eyes of other people around. So it allows for perhaps more to get from life with less effort to put in. What is interesting is that the transit in question, which is going to occur between here, I've got all the Venus transits right through the year, from the 22nd of November, so that's the end of the year, until the 16th of December, the 2020, Venus transits your sign, and while Mars is still here in Aries. So it will tend for that period of about 3 weeks to soothe the influence of Mars and to make you more at ease with what you need to do, and to do it also in a more pleasant manner than when Mars acts by itself, because Mars represents the strength and the aggressiveness and the impulsiveness that we can sometimes that can create sometimes some trouble in our lives. So while Venus is in Scorpio, it will also create a beneficial link with Neptune, with Jupiter, Saturn and Pluto, and also that opposition with Uranus, which is a complementary aspect that will help you perhaps also get a better image of the person in your life, or even to get more satisfaction from the relationship with that person. It will also have an interesting influence on your ability to communicate with other people. It's a time during which you could also do travel, or maybe learn something and exploit your intellect and intelligence to make something out of that transit of Venus, which is also bringing more luck in your life. And thanks to that configuration with Neptune, which represents your the inspiration and intuition and sensitivity and so on, Venus may also enhance greatly your creativity, where that may come very useful to make your life more agreeable and nice, enjoyable as well during that period of time. But luck must be remembered as something that could trigger an event that will have much longer repercussions in your life than the duration of that transit here, which is only going to last until the 16th of December next year. So, make the best out of it, because while Venus transits one sign, you can be assured that it will have a very delicate and interesting and nice influence in your life. Thank you for watching this video to the end of it. Now, if you want to contact me in order to perhaps get a reply or an answer to a question that you're asking yourself, whatever the area of your life concern is. If you want also to order a forecast for 2020, don't hesitate to visit my website, and I will only be too happy to help in any way I can using astrology and my expertise in this area of work. Thank you, and I wish you a very pleasant and successful 2020. There are great things waiting for you as far as cosmic energy is concerned. So, be there and do what you need to do, and you won't regret it. Bye for now.